So welcome back, guys. I'd like to introduce you to a new acquisition to the stable. It's a little bit newer than I'm normally used to and you normally see me working on. But this is a 1987 Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit, conceived by designer John Bletchley. It was first launched at the 1980 Geneva Motor Show to mixed reviews because along with its £80,000 price tag, it was thought of as a poor replacement for the Rolls-Royce Corniche and the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow at the time, which were a lot more curvy and a lot prettier. So this was kind of quite a radical change, really. Never really been my bag. I was saying in the members episode a few days ago, it's kind of like Duran Duran. You know, back in the day, we never really liked them, but then you get a little bit older and you think, why didn't I like these back in the day? Because I quite like them now. It's a bit Marmite, but you know, what attracted me to this was the Balmoral green, the cream leather interior. The car sits really nice, there's no rot. I mean, okay, it's an MOT failure and there's a huge list of jobs, but as always, you know, I'm always up for the challenge, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to take a punt. So yeah, and I suppose it's quite similar to when you think back to the Porsche 928 back in the day. That was meant to be a replacement for the Porsche 911, and it never really was. It was a completely different car, in the same way that the XJS was considered a replacement for the E-Type Jaguar at the time. It wasn't. It was a completely different car. And I suppose it was a thing that happened throughout the 1980s, really. It was changing times. You know, you saw it time and time again. And when you look at the engine bay here, it's basically the same as what's in the 1975 Corniche over there. It's got the same twin SUs, the same 6.75 engine, which, believe it or not, ran for a total of 61 years. It was first derived and released in 1959, and it went through production until 2020, which I think is incredible. It was one of those things at Rolls-Royce, they thought, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah, a very reliable, very successful invention and design, and you know, it's still going strong today. So it's a testament to its design and its reliability. So moving through to the interior. Yeah, it's very 1980s, this. It's a bit like, in fact, it's almost identical to the 82 Corniche, the red one inside the garage. They just kind of changed the dash. Instead of this being with the ignition key in the middle, it moved to the right-hand side. You've got digital displays here, one with the temperature, one with the time, I think. Yeah, and it's just a little bit of a, you know, I suppose this is progression, and it's not too dissimilar, but I suppose they wanted to look like they were making a big difference and it was progressing in the right direction. The smaller steering wheel, yeah, you know, I actually quite like it. It's different, but it's nice. It's like a more modern, fresher feel. Yeah, completely different from the old Shadow design. Yeah, you know, these seats could do with the paint, these carpets could do with hoovering and shampooing and just cleaning the car up, and as I always do, just see what we've got. Moving down to the back. Yeah, similar story. The seats could do with a repaint and the carpet's all cleaning up, and you've got the, you know, the footrests here as well for extra comfort, and it actually looks like a long wheelbase. There's so much room in the back. Yeah, moving down to the back. Look at the size of that. You get a body in there, couldn't you? And look, I know I said it was thought of as kind of a replacement for the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow or the Rolls-Royce Corniche. But you know, when you think about it, they carried on making those cars for another 20 years or so. So maybe it was just Rolls-Royce's way of branching out in a completely different direction, completely different shape. Like I say, there was plenty of derivatives like the long wheelbase, there was the Silver Spare, there was the Silver Dawn, and they were quite successful in the end. You know, on an 18-year production line, it hasn't done too badly, I suppose. But look, I digress. Like I say, there's a huge list of jobs to be done in this car, so why don't you come to the garage and see what I've got parts-wise lined up for it. Come with me. Okay, let's just talk you through the parts here. I've just got these from IntroCar. Where's your radiator hoses, top and bottom? Because these always deteriorate, you know, when a car's been sitting up for any length of time. couple of tie rods, because there was a bit of play in the front. That should tighten everything up. That's a new radiator cap. There we are, a nice brand new thermostat, because that'll be basically crammed with rust. If the car's only done 600 miles in 12 years, you can just imagine what that's going to be like. I'll replace all the antifreeze, all the fluids. I'll replace the oil. There's your seal for your thermostat. Yeah, hose clip. That's what we got here. There we go. Nice gearbox kit. So a nice clean filter, nice clean seal. I'll replenish it with some Dextron 3 ATF automatic transmission fluid, and that'll mean all the oils will have been replaced, everything will be tip top, the engine will be cooled nicely, and the gearbox, well, hopefully that'll perform as should. Oh, before I forget, I've also ordered a couple of track rods, just to get rid of all that play in the front end. Look at that, quality, lovely. As I say, there's just a little bit of play, and it's only going to get worse, so if I go through all this and fit all the nice new parts, it should be good to go. Oh, and I almost forgot. Handbrake pads, because I think the handbrake was only working at like 50%. They were pretty worn down, so I'll replace those, because that's an MOT failure. Yeah, and I think with all this we're good to go. Got plenty to be getting on with, so let's crack on. Oh, and also that's just reminded me, I was looking at the air conditioning system, and I fired it up and I switched the air conditioning on, and there may not be any gas in it. I don't know the situation. I mean, the guy only did, I think he did 600 miles in 12 years, so that just tells me he's been taking it out, getting it MOT'd each year, maybe driving to his friends, whatever, and then putting it back in its box. So it didn't get much of an outing, and it hasn't been used very much, so I'm sure as I start using it, all different problems will all arise, and I'll have to deal with them as I go along. But yeah, so what was happening with the compressor here, same as the black Corniche, when I was switching the air conditioning on, the clutch wasn't actually kicking out, so it wasn't doing anything. And IntroCar do a fantastic kit. You've got a dryer, you've got a, I think there's actually an accumulator on these, so they're slightly different. But you normally get like a dryer, you get like a throttle valve, you get various other gubbinses which go with the kit, with the compressor itself. So yeah, I'll order one of them. That's just reminded me, so I must give IntroCar a ring now. Yeah, cracking on. So first things first, let's give this car a decent wash. So it's out with the star drops, a bucket of warm water, and a sponge I've just found on the floor. Only joking, guys. This is just for all you valeters out there who are going to message in and tell me I'm doing it all wrong. Well, I know what I'm doing, so I'm happy to do it my way. to the seats. Now, there's no splits or damage. They just look a bit dishevelled and colourless and need a bit of a freshen up. And I'm going to use a tried and tested product that I've used in previous episodes to great results. It's a product called Technospray from a company called Colorbond in the Midlands, and I'll leave their details in the episode description below. And for less than £100, this comes in a kit where they supply a cleaner and then a vinyl or leather prep, and then the aerosols themselves, which come in a pack of 4. Then after a thorough clean, making sure to scrub all the dirt and feed residue out of every nook and cranny. I sometimes wipe them over with degreaser or panel wipe first. Then I use the prep, which leaves the surface sticky and aids paint to adhere. And then a quick blow of the hairdryer to warm it up, and then it's on with the paint. But don't be tempted to go gung-ho with the application. Just 3 light, even coats should suffice. Now, doing the front seats was just a little bit more complicated because it would have been a day's work to take them out and put them back in. So I've decided to take the other route, which was spend about 4.5–5 hours masking up every inch of the car so that I could paint them in situ. And I'm sure you'll agree, one of the most difficult parts of this job was masking up the piping. And I always find it best to do it in sections. So the tops of the seats are done. Next, I'll do them dirty sides. And after a nice feed, wow, what a difference. Now, these door cappings leave a lot to be desired, but first up I wanted to do these window rubbers, which have become perished and split over the years. And again, this comes on a roll or by the meter from IntroCar. Now, to do this job properly, you're meant to remove the door panel and the actual window itself. There's a tiny aluminium channel pop riveted in behind the door, but if you take your time and do it carefully, you can actually do this in situ by performing keyhole surgery. I think the main problem it was meant to have was a problem with the gearbox. Apparently it's got back pressure, and sometimes it pops the dipstick on the gearbox itself and then sprays the exhaust with oil. I didn't have any problems on the way home with it after I purchased it. So it's something I'm going to look into. I'm going to start by, there's a huge list of things, but first of all, I'm going to change all the hoses, the usual, the oil, the filters, the transmission oil and filter, and I'll just go from there. I'll change the coolant and just get it so it's running properly and it's all tip top. It does run absolutely as sweet as a nut. It's as smooth as anything. Now, the list of jobs here, 2 rear tyres, they're both split all the way around. Even though they look like brand new, the tyres, they've got a split right the way around. I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, park and brake efficiency less than 50%, so I'll take a look at that. Windscreen washers are not working. Another thing we're going to have to look into. Suspension ball joint dust cover severely deteriorated offside front lower. Yeah, there's one thing after another, plus the gearbox. It needs a couple of tie rods on the front, on the steering. They're worn out. Yeah, so I mean, it's basically, I'm just going to clean the car up as usual and see what we've got. So let's crack on. Yeah, so let's see what we've got here. First things first, the air conditioning system isn't working on this, and I checked it out. I tried gassing it up, but the clutch on the compressor wasn't kicking in, so I've decided to go for one of the upgrades that IntroCar have been supplying, and it's a cracking piece of kit. This, it's a more economical, it doesn't, you know, you get more MPG, it's cleaner, it's quieter, and it's more powerful than the old original ones. So like I did to the black Corniche, I'm going to go through everything. You know, there'll probably be like a throttle valve and various hoses within the kit, and yeah, so I'll get that fitted. That'll probably be in the next episode, but I think for this episode we'll mainly concentrate on the aesthetics. Yeah. Oh, I've also ordered, this is the rear quarter bumper. Now on this, the kind of Bentley been dinged over the years, and when you look along the body, it just gives it that, you know, it makes it look like the body's completely bent. But if you put a nice straight bumper on, these are one of IntroCar's replacements, you know, the remanufactured. They've obviously put a lot of money into developing these, and they're just exactly like the originals. I'll obviously use the chrome from the old one and reinsert it there, but if I fit these and clean everything up and fit these, the body will look nice and straight, because it just puts your eye off, you know. Yeah, so anyway, I got two of those. These are all various other O-rings and that go with the air conditioning system. And yeah, I'll just crack on over the next couple of episodes. I just want to show you these tyres. I've taken the liberty, I couldn't get any turbo steels, there was none in the country at the moment. So the green one had two brand new turbo steels on the front and two on the back, which look nearly new. But when you look closely, they're split all the way around here, probably because the guy just had them, you know, the car's sitting up for many years and not really using it, and you get flat spots and all the rest of it, and the rubber goes hard. But yeah, I just swapped them over. You'll notice these are 5-spoke alloys. So the ones I took off the green one were 5-spoke, and the ones I took off this red Corniche were only 3-spoke. They look exactly the same, but you have to look closely. And I thought, rather than swap the two, I'll just swap all four, because this had 4 brand new tyres on. It had 2 Goodyear on the back and 2 turbo steels on the front. But because this is going to be a while before I get round to getting it properly on the road and finished, I thought for the time being, till they've got some turbo steels in the country, I'll just swap them over, wheels and all. And the car's legal then, you know. So yeah, cracking on. So using a special Allen key provided with all the Rolls-Royces, it's out with the plug and let's change that oil. Now all these modern Rolls-Royces have a screw-on filter, but IntroCar also do a fantastic upgrade kit for the earlier cars. Remember when I adapted my black Corniche to a screw-on filter? It just makes life so much easier, and in my mind, it's a must-do. Then it's in with some quality oil. Check the level on the dipstick, and don't forget, the filter itself takes about half a litre. And always be careful, because you know, overfilling an engine with oil is just as dangerous as not having enough oil in. Quick check of the oil we've just removed. Just make sure there's no shards of metal or any coloured bits. That all looks good. Nice viscosity. And the sucker comes out with the expansion tank. and then it's onto the gearbox. You know, there's no drain plug at the bottom of the sump in the gearbox. So, out comes this tool. This is a fantastic tool, by the way. This extraction pump. It's really handy for a number of jobs. So out comes the gearbox oil. Dispose of it safely. Then under we go for the messy bit. So make sure you get as much of the oil out as possible to prevent an early bath. Oof, well this looks like it hasn't been changed for years. But the gasket's not in bad condition, and you can tell the nuts haven't been over-torqued, which is a good sign. So it's out with the old. And in with the new. I always put a little thin smear of the blue gasket stuff, top and bottom. It helps hold the gasket in place and it just gives it that extra seal. And don't be tempted to over-torque these bolts. I just torque them up to about 8. I think it's meant to be around 16, but 8 will suffice. And then I'll nip them up maybe a couple of weeks later. And for the auto gearbox, remember, the level can only be checked with the engine running and at normal operating temperature. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to do is give this car a thorough clean. Now, I know it looks clean on the camera now, but if you were standing where I'm standing now, you'd see it's full of filth and dirt. You can just see it ingrained in the paint. And as I explained, the previous owner, he had it for 12 years and he only did 600 miles in it. So that basically tells you that he's taken it for its MOT and then he's just put it back in the box. So it's been garaged, you know, for the last 12 years. But even in a garage, it gathers dust. And I honestly think he probably hasn't washed it in them 12 years. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to first start with this, just a simple clay bar from Halfords, a little bit of water, and I'm going to take the surface dirt off, and then we'll give it a little spritz, a little wipe, a little clean, and then I'll go through a couple of polishes and we'll see if we can bring this paint up like I think I can bring this paint up, like you won't believe the difference, if it all goes well, that is. But just come and take a look at the back. I mean, the roof is ingrained with dirt. If you just want to have a little close-up on that. I mean, there's bird poop, there's dust, there's leaves, and it's properly ingrained in the lacquer, or the clear coat, as the Americans call it. Moving around to the boot, I mean, this is just as bad. I mean, it looks like it's got little ripples of, you know, like when you see on the beach when the tide's gone out, like little waves and ripples all the way through it. And I think it's just dirt in the clear coat or the lacquer. So I'll try and work my magic, and let's see where we get to. But I think you'll see an amazing difference, and it'll just transform the car in another way. Oof. Just look at the state of that. Now that's just taken me literally 15 minutes to do just the boot, just the top half of the boot, which is incredible. And in all the cars I've had over the years, that's got to be the filthiest car I've ever come across. And to look at it, looks shiny after one wash. But look at all the grime and dirt that's coming off it. I mean, that's amazing. How smooth that feels now, but that's just getting it ready for the first polish. And I'll wait for the sun to go down a little bit, or go behind the trees, because it's not ideal, as you know, polishing. When as soon as you put the polish on, it's just going to dry completely. So I'll wait till I'm in the shade, but I mean, that's a massive improvement already when you put a bit of water on it to shine. But I don't know how good the paint's going to come up, but we'll soon see. Bit of the Maguire's 83 glaze that you can't get anymore. Uh-oh. So, I think I've just realised that this is just straight paint. There's no clear coat on it at all. So, obviously it was like that from the factory. I think the bonnet's probably the same. But if you look along the sides, you can see here in this little scuff bit here, it's definitely been lacquered. I think we've established that this was maybe straight paint from the factory, and over the course of its lifetime, and it's nearly 40 years old, this car, it's probably had a few little scuffs and dings, and maybe it's been painted down both sides, and it's been lacquered up to here, both sides, and maybe lacquered just over the first roof rail. You know, and you've just taken it right the way through, and it looks much better with lacquer, because the lacquer in the end protects the paint. But what I can see here in the paint, it's completely ingrained. I think the only way around this would be to repaint the bonnet and the boot. Listen, it's going to look fantastic, whatever, but if you come up and give it the Mr. Magoo, you know, you're going to see all the lines here especially. You can see them. As if like water's run down it or something, and it's just gone ingrained, dirty water. And because of this, I'm going to be cautious. I mean, I don't know how much paint is actually on this car. So, after cleaning it first with the clay bar, I'm just going to start with a light clean and polish, followed by a 3M's finesse it, and see how it goes. Oh, and I pulled the button off my trousers, just so when I'm leaning over I don't scratch the car. And you know, thinking about it, I had exactly the same problem with the Porsche 928. Okay guys, so that's the trials and tribulations of when you buy another car. You start at the bottom and work your way through the list, and I'm pretty happy with what we've done. Okay, it's mainly been aesthetics, apart from a little bit of servicing and changing of fluids, but I'm happy with what we've done in the last couple of days. And of course in the next episode we move on to more of the mechanical side of things and just gradually tick our way down that list until everything's done. But I'm really happy with the car and I think it's got fantastic potential, and I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to all you people who've clicked that subscribe button, and more importantly all you people that have become members. It helps sustain what I do and in the end supports the channel, so very much appreciated. I'm afraid that's all we have time for this week, but be sure to join me next time when I work my way down the list of all those mechanical jobs and finally get this car back on the road. Thank you for watching this episode of Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you all next time.